Welcome to your free theory lesson from Sherwood School on the subject of phrasal verbs with the particle on. My name is Mike and I'm going to introduce you to this subject. Although it may appear a little boring, we see it as the most effective way to tackle this challenging part of English grammar. Phrasal verbs consist of a verb plus a particle. Therefore, they can be of the form a verb plus an adverb, a verb plus a preposition, or a verb plus a preposition plus an adverb. The meaning of this combination is usually very different from the verb and the adverb, or preposition, if used alone. There are no rules that explain how phrasal verbs are formed correctly. They need to be looked up in a dictionary and study their meanings. In fact, many phrasal verbs are metaphorical, and if you can understand the metaphors they use, it will be easier to understand and remember their meanings. Phrasal verbs are mainly used in spoken English and informal texts. Many phrasal verbs are transitive, meaning that they take an object. Other phrasal verbs stand alone, i.e. are intransitive verbs. Some phrasal verbs are separable, which is when the verb and the preposition can be separated, putting the object in the middle. Other phrasal verbs are inseparable, which is when the object must come at the end, because the verb and the preposition must stay together. As an example of a separable verb, it would be correct to say, put on your coat. It would be equally correct to say, put your coat on. But as an example of an inseparable verb, where it is correct to say, get on a bus, it would be incorrect to say, get a bus on. So, how to remember English phrasal verbs? The first thing to do with phrasal verbs is to learn them as phrases and not as separate words. Try to remember them as if they were a single verb. The second thing that will help you is to remember them in groups. For example, make a list of phrasal verbs with the word get in them and try to remember them. Get on, get off, get away, get by, get up, get down. You may find it easier if you then put them in groups of verbs with the same particle. For example, as we are doing here, phrasal verbs including the particle on. It may then be useful to group them on the basis of their meaning and usage, as we will demonstrate. The third thing that will help you learn phrasal verbs is to make up or write sentences that will help you to remember how they are used. The fourth important thing about phrasal verbs is to remember if there are any prepositions which always follow them. For example, I get on well with my sister. So, usage 1 is to indicate a start, the point in time or space at which something starts. Call on is to ask for help, challenge, or ask someone to do something. It's especially used when speaking in public. The union called on its members to go out on strike. Come on, to encourage to start something. Start of illness, or start functioning. I have a cold coming on. I saw a light on in the upstairs window. Cotton on is to begin to understand. I only started to cotton on to the subject after the second lesson. Egg on is to encourage to start something. The girl egged on her brother to play the joke on their parents. Embark on, start a project or a venture. When will you embark on your new project? Go on, start doing something, start working if it's a piece of electrical or electronic equipment. I really must go on a diet. Sign on. Agree to participate or employ. We've signed on 3 new members of staff. Start on. Begin to use or consume. I'm just about to start on the cleaning. Switch on or turn on is to start a machine or a piece of equipment. Switch on the light if you feel it's too dark. Usage 2 is where the phrasal verb refers to movement or position. On a surface of something, covering, touching or attached to, or referring to a place. To cling on is to hold tight. He clung on to power for another 10 years. To close on is to get nearer, but close on can also mean almost. I think there are close on 3 million unemployed at present. Follow on. To leave to meet someone after they have left the place that you are at. You head home and we'll follow on when we have finished the shopping. Get on. The phrase used when you enter a bus, train or plane, etc. We got on the train at Birmingham and went up to London. Note that you get in or get out of a car. To have on. To be wearing or to have an electronic device switched on. Kate had her new dress on. Leave on. Not to turn off. Please leave the heating on when you go out. To log on is to begin to use a computer system, as by entering a password. Have you already logged on? To put on is to start wearing, or to imitate, pretend or deceive. Kate put on her coat and went out. To slip on, to put clothes on quickly. Kate slips the jacket on to see what it looked like. To take on, to allow passengers on a ship or a plane, or to employ someone. We're not taking on any new staff at the moment. To try on, to put clothes on to see if they fit or look good. Why don't you try on that dress? Usage 3 is for saying that someone is continuing to do something. Carry on. Please carry on with your report. Or, if you carry on spending money like that, you'll end up in debt. Crack on. We'll have to crack on if we want to finish on time. Get on. Stop complaining about the work and just get on with it. Can we please get on, because there are a lot of things still to discuss. Go on. When you're finished reading the theory, go on to study the examples. Keep on. I was getting increasingly tired, but I kept on working. Press on. The government pressed on with its plans. Further examples of usage 3 is someone talks continuously. We can use the terms bang on, which is to talk at great length. My parents are always banging on about how much better life was 20 years ago. Or you could say the drone on, which is to talk boringly for a long time. He was droning on and on about his ordeal. Go on is talk continuously. The speech seemed to go on forever. Ramble on. Talk at length without getting to the point. Quit rambling on. I'm tired of listening to you. Crack on. Continue doing something with energy. We had to crack on to get everything finished on time. Drag on. Take an unnecessarily long time. Other uses in the continuing example. Dwell on. Spend a lot of time on something. He tends to dwell on the negative aspects of the performance. Play on. Continue playing a sport, though there might be a reason to stop. We played on in spite of the rain. Run on. Continue for longer than expected or planned. The speech ran on for hours. Stay on. Remain longer than anticipated. Kate promised to stay on for 6 months. Walk on. Continue walking. She walked on without a backward glance. Wave on. Make a hand signal to tell someone to keep moving. The accident was bad, but the police waved us on. Urge on. To encourage someone to continue something. The crowd urged on their team to win. Usage 4 is to indicate progression of something, movement forwards, or an advance towards completion, maturity, perfection. Act on. To take action because of something like information received. The police acted on the new evidence and caught the criminal. Or the police refused to act on his complaint. Add on. Include in a calculation or list, to extend something. Let's add on to this. Be on. To be functioning for items of equipment, or to take place. The news won't be on tonight. Bring on. Cause something to happen, speed up the process, or make something appear. Her new piano teacher has really brought her on. Cheer on is to encourage. I'll be there to cheer you on at the halfway point. Get on. Make progress. Deal with something with a reasonable degree of success. How did you get on in your exam? Go on. Progress. Do the next action. If you pass your school examinations, you can go on to university. Grow on. Start to like something that you didn't like at first. Become gradually more evident. I don't think much of that new record, but I suppose it will grow on me. Move on. Change the subject or your job. Make people move from a place. Now I will move on to the next question. Spur on. Encourage someone to continue. The thought of the bonus spurred her on to complete the work on time. Tack on. Add something that wasn't planned. At the last minute they tacked on a couple of extra visits to my schedule. Work on. Improve or develop. You need to work on your handwriting. Usage 5 is to indicate dependence or something that you can have confidence in. Bank on is to count on or rely on. Kate might arrive on time, but I wouldn't bank on it. Bargain on. Expect something to happen, usually in a negative sense. We hadn't bargained on such a long wait. Bear on. Influence or affect, or be connected or relevant to something. The new information had no bearing on his decision. Depend on. To rely on something or someone, especially for support or maintenance. Children depend on adults for food and shelter. Figure on. To plan or expect. I hadn't figured on him reacting this way. Get on. Have a good relationship. Kate and Helen don't get on. Count on. To depend, rely, or expect something to happen and base plans on it. You may be disappointed if you count on getting that loan. Hinge on. Depend very much or completely. An essential point for the development of a story. A lot hinges on the result of tomorrow's match. To reckon on. is to expect something to happen and plan for it. Kate hadn't reckoned on having twins. Rely on, depend on someone or something, to trust in something or someone. Elderly parents often rely on their children when they are older. Usage 6 is to describe the effects of your thoughts and feelings. Chew on is thinking about something carefully before deciding. The investors have several economic reports to chew on. Draw on, finally realize or understand something. Dawn on is to finally realize or understand something. I was about to pay for the shopping when it dawned on me that I'd left my wallet at home. Decide on is choose or select. I've decided on blue for the bathroom. Lead on, falsely or cruelly raise hopes. She led him on about her desire to get married. Leap on, show interest in or try to use something to your advantage. She leapt on the suggestion of a holiday at the coast. Sleep on, think about something. Let me sleep on it and I'll give you an answer tomorrow. Turn on, to cause someone to feel attraction or pleasure. The girl was turned on by the pop star's attention. Weigh on, to remain on someone's mind or worry them. He's under huge pressure at work and it's really weighing on him. Usage 7 is to describe behaviour, either positive or more often negative. Be down on, for example, is to have negative feelings towards someone. It's not fair of the boss to be so down on a new employee. Grass on, report someone to a person in authority. Dan grassed on them to the local police. Jump on, criticize, attack, or suddenly take action on something. The students jumped on the college president after he spoke. Lean on is to put pressure on someone to get them to do what you want. The Prime Minister's been leaning pretty heavily on her to resign. Let on, tell a secret. He knows more than he's let on. Pick on, bother, annoy, criticize, or make fun of someone. Why do you always pick on me? Pin on is to attach the blame to someone. They can't pin anything onto him. Rat on, inform the authorities about someone's wrongdoings. He ratted on me and I got into trouble. Set on is to attack. The lions set on the zebras. Tell someone is to report someone to an authority. If you don't stop hitting, I'm going to tell on you. Turn on is to attack someone. The crowd turned on the speaker when he said it was their fault. Finally, other uses. Call on is to visit. We could call on my parents if we have time. Cut back on, reduce quantities or expenditure. The government has decided to cut back on spending on the armed forces. Draw on, exploit or use knowledge, skills or information for a specific purpose or aim. The project team had to draw on all their experience to solve the problem. Lay on, organize or supply. They laid on a beautiful buffet lunch. Live on, use money for basic necessities. We can hardly live on £500 a week. Quit on is to give up working or associating or being friends with someone, especially when they need support. The car's battery quit on us when we were a mile from the city. Save on, reduce or avoid consumption to cut costs. It was a warm winter, so they saved on electricity. Sell on, convince someone, or to buy something and then sell it to someone else. Mary sold me on ordering pizza for dinner. Settle on, to agree. The two sides have not yet settled on the price. Wait on, serve someone with what they want, or to wait for a result before being able to make a decision. The manager waited on a customer in the shop, or the man waited on receiving his bonus before buying a new car. So, we hope you have found this lesson useful. You can find a full script of the lesson on our website using the links that are shown on the screen. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and study with us at Sherwood School, and request a course by completing the form on the following link. Thank you.